Virginia. Kihei Clark, the sophomore. 6 assists per game to lead the team, but he can also rebound. Almost 6 rebounds per game for a player that goes 5'9" and 163 pounds. Not too bad. In the second all-time meeting between these two programs, they played back in 07. Virginia won that one. John Becker is in his 9th season and has taken Vermont to the NCAA tournament 3 times. Head coach Tony Bennett, 11th year. 257 wins on the bench for Virginia, 6 straight trips to the NCAA tournament. That's a school record. And the defending national champs. They're in the white, and they own the opening tip.
And interesting to see Virginia opening up with the big lineup. Braxton Key at the small forward position and starting Jay Huff. And this is a different lineup for Virginia. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to defend Lamb, because most likely Mamadi Diakite will get that starting nod defensively.
This is Diakite, surrounded by 3 defenders, and he loses the handle.
And one of the things Coach Becker talked to us about earlier in shoot-around today, they're proud of their defense. They hear about Virginia's defense and have a tremendous amount of respect. But they say we play against each other in practice every day. We know our defense is good, and they're definitely looking forward to this challenge.
Vermont is 4-0, and they won Saturday at St. John's, 70-68. They shot 40% in that game and held St. John's to 34% and just 26% from beyond the arc. That pass in tight quarters somehow ends up in the basket.
And Giddens was confused as to whether that shot went in or if he thought it was a rebound. And Giddens will actually get the points for that. And Daniel Giddens, of course, a grad transfer from Alabama, hasn't been scoring at a high clip. So whenever you get an opportunity to see it go in, you love that.
He's already above his average, which was 1 point per game coming into the game. Fight for the loose ball and won by the Catamounts. Virginia held Columbia to just 29% from three-point distance in the win on Saturday. But that's Lamb. Now, he hit the game winner against St. John's with 1.9 seconds left in regulation, and he had a game-high 23 points against St. John's.
And you can see already that Lamb can make tough shots. That's contested, too, over top of Mamadi Diakite. He's one of the better shot blockers nationally. And Lamb did that with comfort.
And he's been struggling from three-point distance. This is 1-on-2. Wild shot bounces off the rim from Steph Smith.
Virginia's been a little bit sloppy with the basketball early. Already a couple turnovers for them on the first 3 to 4 possessions. So we want to make sure that they're able to handle the basketball. And, of course, when you take one of your guards off the floor and you have this bigger lineup, handling the basketball is always going to be a concern.
Clark trying to send it out. And that one's too high for his teammate. Walda Tensai. That'll get a stern look from Tony Bennett.
Well, now 3 turnovers for Virginia on just 5 offensive possessions. So, and no baskets, of course, made. So right now, Tony Bennett more concerned about his offense, but his defense has given up a couple of easy looks as well.
Cavs scored 60 points in their win at home against Columbia on Saturday, 60-42. And that out of the corner is a 3-pointer. Steph Smith.
And Steph Smith, along with Anthony Lamb, both these guys have been very good against ranked opponents and even more importantly against Power 5 schools when they've got the opportunities to play against them. And John Becker talked to us earlier, basically said that this would not be, his team would not come in fearful of Virginia. He knows they're the reigning national champions, but they would be prepared for this challenge. And, of course, you talked about it earlier. They're 3-0 on the road right now, so this is nothing new for them coming into a hostile environment.
Deflected out of bounds. That was off of Everett Duncan. Time for the Ford keys to the game with Corey Alexander.
Well, for, Vermont, it's what they've already done. Make yourselves at home. We talked about them being 3-0 on the road. And so this is not a new challenge for them as they're able to come in. And they've been the aggressor early in this game. For Virginia, of course, it's going to be about offensive rebounding. Neither of these teams shoot the ball that well. So Virginia, with the size advantage, has to crash those offensive glass. But right now, Vermont has all the momentum early in this game. And you look 3 for 4 from the field. No one does that against Virginia.
Giddens couldn't handle the pass. He had the big block at the other end on the last offensive possession for Virginia. Still trying to get on the board. Early minutes, first half. This is Key. Diakite. That's a free. Mamadi Diakite.
Much needed basket for Virginia, and the guy that they need to get him a basket when they need it. Mamadi Diakite stepping up, knocking down the three, and just getting the lid off of the rim that Virginia's been playing with so far.
Diakite leading the Cavaliers in scoring on the young season. Almost 15 points per game, and he's made his third three of the year. Foul going against Vermont, according to Bill Covington Jr., who was right on top of it.
Well, Vermont has made themselves at home. Anthony Lamb with the tough two. And you find the three ball in the corner, that's always going to benefit you on the road.
Attention homeowners.
Coach Becker's team, the defending champs in America East. They beat UMBC, which is a bad word to say around these parts of the country, on the grounds of the University of Virginia.
Not as bad anymore.
Not as bad anymore. You're right.
It's part of the redemption story.
That's right.
You know, without UMBC, the national championship, well, it still would have been a sweep.
Yes.
I won't say that, but
the painful gift, I believe they refer to it as. Morcell has come into the game for Virginia. This is Diakite. He likes that left side of the floor, stepping inside the arc.
He really does. And nice play by Mamadi Diakite to get his rhythm with the dribble to the left and find himself. Of course, he has three-point shooting range, but didn't catch that ball cleanly and wanted to get a better rhythm. Was able to knock it down for his second bucket and Virginia's second bucket in this game.
Diakite, 2 of 3 from the floor. That includes a three-pointer. Shot clock is down to 10 for the Catamounts. Lamb, long distance with Key right in his grill.
And you see Virginia making that move now to the smaller lineup, which puts Key at the 4. Now he takes on the task of guarding Lamb. And as far as a perimeter defender, Mamadi Diakite not quite as good as Braxton Key. Of course, Diakite a much better interior defender.
Clark trying to connect with Diakite. A little follow away, hit the rim. Cavaliers working on a 19-game non-conference home winning streak here at John Paul Jones Arena. And 75-6 at home against non-conference opponents under Tony Bennett. Lamb in rhythm. Back iron.
And this has been one of the best home court advantages in college basketball when you consider the last 7 seasons and what Tony Bennett has been able to accomplish here at the University of Virginia, as well as a very knowledgeable fan base that has learned to appreciate defense. But loving the great offense on that possession by Braxton Key, who just recognizes he has an advantage over Lamb, drives it to the rim, going to his right, and is able to finish through contact, an opportunity for the and one.
Anthony Lamb picking up his first personal foul.
That's often your best defense against a great player like Lamb is to go at him on the offensive end of the floor, make him defend, and oftentimes get him in foul trouble. Hard to score when you're sitting on the bench.
Key completes the old-school three-point play after scoring 9 points and hauling in 9 rebounds to lead the team in the win against Columbia. And Virginia's on an 8-0 run.
See Virginia extending that defense. Mamadi Diakite with great hands on that possession, knocking it away from Smith.
Clark on the run. Three-point miss from Morcell.
And Casey Morcell, of course, great defensively right now, struggling to shoot the basketball from the outside. Important for Casey to see one go in, build that confidence, but is a very good shooter. And will eventually find that range here in this white uniform, but still getting the job done defensively. And for Tony Bennett, that's one thing you're always going to have opportunity to play when you can do the job defensively.
Last 4 minutes, no points for Vermont. Cavaliers have taken the lead, trying to increase it. Can't do it. the 10 side. New face to the team this season. Junior, Bologna, Italy. In the north central part of the country. This is Clark from three-point territory.
Much improved three-point shooter, K.A. Clark. Stepping up and knocking one down off of the penetration by Braxton Key. And Clark, another one of those players that's going to be offensive. Casey Morcell has added the pressure. When you get to a point to where you're forcing opponents to try to lean a shoulder in you just to get some space to get you off of them, you've done your job.
First foul on Robin Duncan. His older brother Everett also part of this Vermont team and trailing 11-7. Virginia holding its first three opponents this season to less than 50 points each.
Well, this one hasn't been too difficult to track the runs. It was Vermont getting off early, then I believe an 11-0 run for Virginia.
Huff had it stripped away and gathered by Deloney. But it's been 5.5 minutes since the Catamounts have put points on the board.
You see Virginia just ramping up its pressure. People feel when they hear pack line, they think that it's solely backing inside the three-point line and basically allowing people to move the ball around the perimeter. But you can see Virginia does not like that. It's aggressive defense. Put a lot of pressure pushing your defense out on the floor.
Deloney misses. Key brings it in. Vermont is an NCAA tournament team from a season ago. Lost in the first round of Florida State. But they are struggling right now in the first half against this Virginia defense. Huff straight away.
And if you're Virginia, you have to be happy with the looks you're getting. You love Jay Huff getting that look at the top of the key. More than capable of knocking down that shot.
2 of 7 from long range for Virginia. And the long rebound. Potential run out, but Morcell will hold it up and wait for reinforcements. Wall the 10 side, couldn't knock it down. Had a good look at it though, as you referenced, Corey.
And those are shots, of course, as the players, and these are a lot of new guys playing for Virginia. Getting their first experience. I mean, this is game 4 on a young season. As the season goes along, they're going to become a much better offensive team. Tony Bennett understands that they're going to be struggles when you're playing this many new guys. The difference is they still get the job done defensively. And as long as you're doing that, he can appreciate it. And again, Braxton Key can make that shot. We've seen 3 missed opportunities on the last 3 possessions for Virginia, all by guys who are capable shooters.
Foul coming up on the Cavaliers. And leading 11-7. K.A. Clark behind the line. That new extended line this season doesn't bother number 0.
We don't want Virginia to score either.
Vermont just 1 of 8 from beyond the arc and shooting 21% as a team from three-point distance this season coming into the ballgame tonight. Just the second all-time meeting between the programs. They played in 07, a win for the Cavaliers. Shot clock down to 5. Diakite knocked it away from Lamb. The handles from the big man.
You and Diakite got a little carried away on that one.
I was ready to take him all the way to the basket. Capable hands of K.A. Clark. Diakite, yes! Extending the range.
You like Mamadi Diakite at that spot a little more so than you do with him handling the basketball in the fast break. And he already has 2 3-pointers. And again, he, in my opinion, is going to have a Mike Scott type of year. He's definitely capable of that. Very skilled and has improved so much as a shooter over the past couple of seasons at the University of Virginia. And right now, he has been the offensive punch for the Wahoos.
Foul was on Morcell. 8 points for Diakite. And he leads all scorers with those 8.
And Anthony Lamb closing out short, not recognizing Mamadi Diakite has more than enough confidence to take that shot. As Chase Coleman checks into the game to give K.A. Clark a bit of a breather. Coleman from Norfolk, Virginia, Maury High School. Younger brother of Matt Coleman, starting point guard at Texas. And getting his first true meaningful minutes on the season.
Diakite just picked up the personal foul, his first.
And Tony Bennett told me in the summer, he said, Chase has a chance to play, and the reason why is because he can defend. I'm not going to say he's Kihei Clark, but he's close, and he can defend and pressure the basketball like that. Very cerebral player. So for a walk-on, you know, this is a great spot for Chase to be in, especially when you have an opportunity to get some minutes.
Diakite out of the game with 8 points, 3 of 5 from the floor, and a couple of threes. That 3 straight away is good. Ryan Davis for Vermont.
And Davis provides a tremendous challenge when you're talking about your 5 position, able to go out and stretch from beyond the arc, similar to what Jay Huff does for Virginia. My mom did Diakite at that 5 position as well. So when you got bigs that are able to shoot the 3, it helps you space the floor and gives you driving lanes, which are tough to find against this Virginia defense.
Huff had it knocked away, but a foul. That last bucket by the Catamounts stopped an 8.5-minute drought as Ryan Davis made that 3-pointer, just his 4th of the season. Braxton Key is back into the game for Virginia. Everett Duncan also in. Walda Tensai is out. 5.6 boards in the win against Columbia for him. Out of the lineup right now, this is Coleman with the basketball.
And Tony Bennett going to his bench a lot earlier in this game than he has in the past. Justin McCoy also getting some action, the freshman, who's going to be really good for Virginia in the future.
Key working the baseline. And the foul will go against Key. And he's saying that the defender was inside the restricted area. Having a conversation there with Tommy Morrissey and Tim Comer.
As you see, as he goes baseline, nice move, nice fake to get there. As defender comes over, clearly gets outside of the restricted area. Great call by the officials on that one.
Once again, that 3-point line extended to 22 feet, 1 3/4 inches. That is the international distance. Out from 20 feet, 9 inches a season ago.
And you see a little bit of Chase Coleman's ability to be able to pressure and heat up the basketball. The Virginia fans already appreciating what Coleman does. He picks up the foul on that possession once, tried to reach in, but that's one where Tony Bennett wants Chase Coleman just to stay solid. As you see, he has the ability to slide his feet.
Deloney trying to get by Coleman, going down the lane. Didn't have the angle. .35 wins last year for the Cavaliers, a school record. 16-2 in ACC play.
You know, Tony Bennett has to be disappointed to see the 18-game schedule in the ACC go away, because when the ACC went to 18 games, Virginia has owned the ACC. 2 16-2 seasons, a 17-1 season, which of course is a record for wins in ACC basketball. So when you think about what they've been able to do, you know, I'm sure they didn't want to see this 20 games.
Big defensive stop.
That's another area where Virginia is really good defensively. When you do get those opportunities at the rim, they've got a number of guys, when you think about Huff, especially Diakite, and even Braxton, Key, and McCoy, who are able to block shots at the rim. So when you get those opportunities, they often make up for their defensive lapses.
Shot clock is at 5 for Morcell. From the wing.
That's a big bucket. Wormy, you hear the ovation from the crowd. The freshman has struggled with his shooting, but that's a big bucket by Casey Morcell, and that, I'm sure, gives him a lot of confidence. It's an opportunity to see it go in with a jump shot.
Just his 3rd made field goal of the season on 23 tries.
The interior defense for the University of Virginia. Great at the rim. You see the white shirts gathering, coming up with the block shot. And then on the other end of the floor, the first year, Casey Morcell knocking down the...
And at 8:30, number 5 North Carolina hosting Elon. Check your local listings to watch these games in your area and see fantastic freshman for North Carolina, Cole Anthony, 34 points in his collegiate debut against Notre Dame. Corey and I will be there in Chapel Hill for Elon in North Carolina, the second of our doubleheader tomorrow.
So when you say second of our doubleheader, you mean yours and my personal doubleheader, or are you talking about tomorrow's doubleheader?
However you want. We'll be there. Either way, we're going to be there. We're going straight to Chapel Hill after tonight. The Cavaliers on a run over the last 10 minutes. 16-3 for Tony Bennett's club.
Rare to see a team get off to a start the way that Vermont did in the first few minutes where they got out to the lead against Virginia, but Virginia's defense settling in and really taking over the tempo of this game over those last 10 minutes.
Pass fired inside to Everett Duncan for the layup.
And nice find there by Daniel Giddens. Great pass. And really taking advantage of the size over Kihei Clark on the interior. Clark can help defense and has made it a nice play coming out of the timeout by Coach Becker.
North Carolina and Virginia, 2 of the 4 teams in the top 10 in the national rankings out of the ACC. Diakite, and Key found him.
And that's Braxton Key's game. So versatile, the ability to put the ball on the floor, make plays, make shots. But right there, when you look at this Virginia team, and their strength, no doubt about it, is on the interior. When you think about Key, Diakite, and of course Jay Huff, their ability to score in the paint and make plays for each other, these guys have to be working together. A lot of high-low action and interior passing could be the success for Virginia this season.
Double digits for Diakite with 10 points. He has been the leading scorer for Virginia in their first 3 games of the season. Started with a stifling defensive effort at the Carrier Dome in their first game of the year on the road in conference play against the Syracuse Orange, allowed just 34 points, and then did the same thing in their next game against James Madison. We're inside of 5 minutes to go in the first half. So glad that you're with us. Tom Wormy, Corey Alexander, the former Virginia standout, and our talented ACC Hoops production crew, and it's a turnover back to the Wahoos.
And Duncan wants to try to back Kihei Clark down. We saw multiple times on that last possession. But Mamadi Diakite coming over and helping, getting the ball out of Duncan's hands, really put the Catamounts up against the shot clock, forcing a turnover. Mishandling the basketball, but Virginia's defense right now is so well connected. No one player is going to leave his own teammate out to dry.
Diakite played his prep ball at Blue Ridge School, St. George, Virginia. Originally from Guinea, West Africa. Knocked away from his fingertips and taken by the Catamounts.
Love seeing this matchup between Braxton Key and Daniel Giddens, of course, both teammates at Alabama for 2 years. And, of course, a little personal for me, both also Oak Hill Warriors. So getting to see those guys go at it, both wearing the number 2.
We'll take a timeout, Corey, with 4:07 on the clock in the first half. And Virginia up by 6. More on Mamadi in a minute.
Rhythm. I think this Virginia team is going to be really good when they get later in the season and their guys get comfortable shooting the ball from the perimeter.
He played 33 minutes against Columbia on Saturday. Final seconds of the first half. A lot of dribbling from Smith, and now Lamb for 3 right before the horn. So Anthony Lamb hits that 3. And 5 points in the first half for Lamb. It was Smith who led him with 6, and Diakite, the only player to get to double digits. He had 10, and that included a couple of 3s on 2 chances from beyond the arc. Halftime.
Very few teams can get used to that, but that's what you have to be able to accept when you play against this Virginia team. And coming into this building, in Virginia only fouls 8.7 times per game. And right now, 0 free throw attempts for Vermont. So they're going to have to find a way to continue to be aggressive and see if they can get Mamadi Diakite on the move defensively, put him in some defensive actions to try to take away from his offense.
Braxton Key is the only player in our game to go to the free throw line in the first 20 minutes, and he made all 3 of his free throws. Crank it up the second half. John Paul Jones Arena, Tom Wormy, Corey Alexander, the former Virginia standout in our talented production crew. This is ACC College Hoops. And we're so glad that you're with us. A couple of undefeated teams.
And you see right there, Lamb doing a good job of being patient and trying to use that rim as a shield. And that's a position where Virginia, of course, normally is helping. Very few times where you see someone dribble the basketball that many times with no help from Amadi Diakite in that position.
7 points now for Lamb. He is the leading scorer on the season for Vermont. Just over 18 points per game. Also leads them in rebounding, 10.5. Diakite, the high rebound. And it bounces to the Catamounts. Steph Smith.
And Catamounts really looking to get off to another strong start like they did in the first half to see if they can maintain some momentum. With the 3 and, of course, the basket by Lamb early, they go off to a 5-0 run when you consider the last bucket. To make this a 4-point game, Lamb unable to finish the 3 on that possession.
This game is part of the Air Force Reserve tip-off tourney. And for Virginia, its next game Saturday, but that's at Mohegan Sun Arena in Uncasville, Connecticut. Clark. Huff at it for a second off of his fingertips, and on the run, the Catamounts, Smith.
And that's a block shot by Braxton Key. We talked about Virginia's ability to defend the rim and just really taking away what would have been fast break points by Key, coming up with a huge block on that possession.
Cavaliers a season ago defeating Texas Tech in that final for the national title in overtime, 85-77. And regional final will be remembered as well. The shot by Diakite against Purdue. That's out of bounds and will stay with Virginia.
But the question is there possession for Vermont? Because right now the shot clock is not resetting, so only 4 seconds remaining on the shot clock for Virginia.
Corey, I was just talking to Tim Comer about this. It has to be deflected into the backcourt definitively for that shot clock to fully reset. Diakite did get it away, but Giddens had the board.
But I tell you what, you mentioned that Final Four run, which would have never happened without a shot that looked eerily similar to that one Amadi Diakite shot against Purdue and happened to be the game winner. I'm sorry, it took Virginia into overtime.
It tied the game. You're right. A lot of people think that, Corey. You're right.
Yeah, it actually sent them into overtime where they were able to win that game.
80-75 in OT against Purdue in the regional final.
I tell you what, I've, of course, watched a lot of basketball the last 15 years. That Purdue game may have been the most exciting college basketball game I've watched in the last 10 years. When you think about what Carson Edwards did, the plays that Virginia made to be able to keep it close with a guy that got that hot.
I think this guy made a heck of a play as well. He made the pass to Diakite. The one-handed bullet pass, and that's knocked around in the paint. Diakite able to gather it. Did not get it away. Shot clock violation.
And I know we have a game going on here, of course, and we're talking about one in the past. There are very few players, and I would say very few point guards, that would have had the presence of mind to make that play that Kihei Clark made. Instead of dribbling and just throwing up a shot from half court, being panicked and rushed, a pinpoint pass on the mark to Diakite, right in his shooting pocket to tie that game up was spectacular.
Knocked out of bounds by Huff. Also keep in mind that Kyle Guy was on the right-hand wing also and wide open, but Diakite got the pass from Clark, and the rest is history.
Hey, Kihei picked the right guy.
Hey, you know, the game against Auburn in the national semis was pretty good, too. 63-62.
I was there.
I know you were.
Made sure to be there watching those games.
I know.
First time I've gotten to be a true fan. Sat in the stands, was a true fan of the Wahoos, had a ball.
Corey Alexander, University of Virginia, 1991 to 1995. All-conference selection in the ACC and 8 years in the NBA, including some time in Charlotte.
Yes.
With the then Bobcats.
Yes. You were around the building then, huh?
I'm an original.
I know
2004. No, I didn't play. You know, maybe point guard, but straight away, Smith. Hey, look at the scoreboard right now, Corey. Look at what Vermont is doing.
And it's been the three-pointer. That's been the difference. Vermont has made threes. Virginia has 3 threes, but Vermont's three-pointers has allowed them to be able to stay in this game and keep it within striking distance and now within 1 point.
That's Key with the jumper. In rhythm for Braxton Key.
I like the confidence that Braxton Key's playing with for Virginia right now and recognizing that he has a major role in this team.
Clark will bring it up for Virginia. Up by 3 after leading by 6 at halftime. Tries the alley-oop to Huff, and he bounced off a Lamb.
Interesting to see that's not a shooting foul, even though it was a lob for Huff, but Lamb gets over and actually makes contact with Jay Huff before he gets his hands on the basketball, so no shooting foul on that possession.
Second foul on Lamb. That knocked around as well. Into the corner for 3, Morcell to miss.
That was a big boy rebound by Daniel Giddens right there.
It's now 5 rebounds for Giddens. Diakite.
Speaking of big boy rebounds, Diakite went and got that as apex. He went way above the rim to pick up that rebound to make sure no one else could get to it.
5th board for Diakite to go along with 10 points. Huff trying to back his way down to the block. Inside of 10 seconds on the shot clock, Morcell slightly off balance. Foul goes against Virginia. Might have been on Huff with a push. Early part of the second, it's mostly orange and blue with some green mixed in and some gold. And they trail by 3. Almost 5 minutes gone here in our second half of play. This is Lamb around the edge, and he hits.
And that's small. It's a small adjustment, but the execution was perfect. A pick and roll between Steph Smith and Anthony Lamb forced Kihei Clark to switch on Lamb, where he's going to be able to shoot over a smaller Clark, and was able to get an easy bucket.
9 points now for Lamb, closes the gap to just 1. And a foul going against Virginia.
As you see the pick and roll action, force this switch. So now you've got Lamb at 6'6", going up against Clark. Although the help does come, Lamb already in the shooting motion, and he's comfortable knocking down those shots. And you think about tough shots, the game winner versus St. John's on Saturday on the road. Anthony Lamb coming up with a big bucket there, and he's hoping to come up with a number of big buckets here in the remainder of this game.
He had a double-double in that game with 23 points, 13 boards, and shot over a double team for the game winner. That's a three-pointer, Anthony Lamb.
And they take the lead, but I can tell you right now, that is beautiful ball movement. That's one of those plays where you almost have to make the shot. Everyone on the Vermont team touched the basketball and was willing to make that extra pass to get the best shot for the team.
Catamounts haven't led since the 17:35 mark of the first half. Kihei Clark ripping the ropes for the Cavaliers.
That's a huge bucket for Kihei to come back to take the lead, taking a page out of the Ty Jerome book of big shots.
2 for 2 from three-point distance. Kihei Clark.
The big play right there, Tom, because that's the 3rd foul on Kihei Clark. We saw him on the bench to end the first half, but Kihei stepping up and knocking down the 3. A big bucket for the point guard, but now you see Kihei Clark coming out of the game with that 3rd foul, and Virginia playing without his point guard. We have to look at this time, 13:38 remaining, a 1-point game. I'm sure Tony Bennett can't afford to leave Kihei over there long.
6 points and an assist for Kihei Clark, who, as Corey mentioned, has gone to that Virginia bench. A 1-point lead for the Cavaliers. Diakite. Poise and composure. Didn't
recognition by Braxton Key as well on the screen and roll. The pass wasn't clean, but the idea to get the ball over that corner was the right idea.
12 points for Diakite, and it's Lamb over the defender.
Tony Bennett had a tremendous amount of respect for Lamb before this game. He knew he was a guy that could make plays, especially with coming in on the road, would not be afraid. And he has shown that Coach Bennett was right in his scouting report.
10 points in the second half for Lamb, 15 overall. Long rebound to Steph Smith. Marcel trying to guard Smith. Lamb, just a little bit of daylight is all number 3 needs for a 3.
And I know the principles that Virginia has, but that's one Braxton Key has to come on and commit all the way to Lamb. When a guy has a hot hand like that, you got to get over and take him away. That guy in that Tom Wormy jacket is enjoying it, but the fans here at the JPJ are not. As Vermont, the Catamounts have taken a 3-point lead. Well, Vermont has made himself comfortable in the JPJ, finding his way to the rim, shooting over top of a smaller Kihei Clark, and then after great ball movement, knocking down the 3, but not just one 3. Off the screen and roll, the step back, knocking down another 3, and just for good measure, another 3. Right before the timeout, 4 3-pointers already in this game for Lamb, who has 18 points with 7 for 15 shooting, and he has found a rhythm here on the road.
He came into the game just 3 of 25 for the season from beyond the arc, 12%.
And Wormy, one of the things that we talked about, how big his shot was at the buzzer at halftime in that first half, and that allowed him to get on the roll. Virginia Tech,
yes,
coming in the Friday after Thanksgiving, wins by the Hoos will put them in the ACC championship game.
That would be the 7th different team in 7 years out of the Coastal to represent that side of the league in that title game in Charlotte, December 7th. Could come down to Virginia and Virginia Tech. This one could come down to the final seconds. Key, it was online. He's able to gather it.
And a good look by Braxton Key. Great execution by Virginia. Unable to finish, but a second chance because of the offensive rebounding. And I felt like that would be one of the keys for Virginia coming into this game, is getting more opportunities.
Diakite!
And the second opportunity pays off for Virginia. Mamadi Diakite continues to shoot the basketball extremely well. A number of NBA scouts in the building here today, and most of them here to see Diakite, who in my opinion will be a first-round pick this year.
Points, Diakite. He's 3 for 3 from long distance. That shot way beyond the arc by Steph Smith.
And Kihei Clark back into the game. We talked about how long could Tony Bennett keep him out with those 3 fouls. And if I'm Vermont, that would be one of the areas I want to try to attack, and see if we can get Clark, especially a switch off on the Lamb.
Huff tried to keep it alive. He got tangled up there with Ryan Davis, and the foul's going against Davis, 35 in gold and green. So Davis is out. He has a 3-pointer to his credit. Giddens, number 2, back to the lineup. He has 1 field goal on 1 attempt and 5 rebounds. He leads the Catamounts in rebounding tonight. Diakite thought about a catch and shoot, dribbles to freedom. Too strong.
But that was a great defensive recovery by Giddens to run Diakite off the 3-point line. Diakite can definitely make that shot, but we've seen how accurate he's been from beyond the arc this evening.
Lamb held the finish for an extra beat.
Speaking of accurate beyond the arc, Anthony Lamb is having himself a second half. Now 21 points. And when you consider that he made that 3 at the halftime buzzer, 18 of those have come in the last 10 or so minutes.
A driving Kihei Clark. And it's tight, a 1-point game. 2 undefeated teams. Smith and Clark 0-on-0. Lamb, can he do it again? And the answer is yes.
And Tony Bennett not happy with Braxton Key on that possession. When a guy is that hot, you cannot give him that much space. It doesn't matter what the three-point line is. He's going to shoot the basketball. It's called a heat check.
A season-high 24 points after scoring 23 Saturday at St. John's and hitting the winning bucket. Diakite spinning and scoring.
I tell you what, the stars have shown up here now. Diakite making plays. Anthony Lamb making buckets. But you see Braxton Key too far away from a guy that's hot as Anthony Lamb is right now. But on the other end of the floor, Mamadi Diakite, you run him off the three-point line, has the ability to put it on the floor and still go get a tough bucket.
17 points. Diakite. That's on 7 of 12 shooting. He is 3 of 3 from three-point distance. And Land has tied his career high for made threes in a game with 6.
Well, John Becker told me earlier today, I think Anthony Lamb has a chance to be an NBA player, and I've seen nothing different from that here this evening, especially when you consider what he's doing on the road against this defense. This is a special performance.
34 times now in his career he has scored 20 points or more in a Vermont uniform. Clark, up top to Hunt. Patience. Tied at 40, Corey.
That's the perfect word you use, patience. Kihei Clark showing that poise, not getting sped up, and allowing Jay Huff to get in perfect position.
Three-pointer on that from the corner. Everett Duncan.
I can tell you right now, that play by Steph Smith may have been just as special as the lob from Kihei Clark. The point guard's going at it as well. We've seen some performances by some big guys. But the littlest guy coming up with the biggest play.
Tied once again after a 3 at each end. Bailey Patella's into the game, number 12 in green. Rolls out of bounds to Coach Becker and Virginia basketball. Clark's got 11 points and he's 3 of 3 from long distance. 9 points for Steph Smith. And I know you're keeping an eye on that matchup, Corey Alexander.
Absolutely. Of course, you know I love to see the point guards go at it. And both these guys, Kihei Clark and Steph Smith, both of them knocked down 3 3-pointers. The difference is Clark is 3 for 3 from beyond the arc.
His pass was deflected. Got it caught in the air.
Only the second turnover for Kihei. Steph Smith, 2 turnovers as well, but he actually has 6 assists, been finding his teammates, being a facilitator in this game as well as making timely buckets.
For the first time since the late 70s, Vermont is 4-0 to start the season. And the floater too strong in the baseline from Ryan Davis.
But give Mamadi Diakite credit. Davis did a great job getting Jay Huff off the floor in the lane to the basket, but Diakite coming to his aid was unable to block the shot, but definitely offered it.
Key for 3 on net.
Tom, one thing that is appreciated in this building is great defense. But I can tell you right now, Everyone here is loving the offensive display going on from both these teams.
Lamb's teammates on the bench floored by the performance. 7 made threes, a new career high for Lamb in a single game. And now 27 points. Clark, stop and start off the square. $13 points for Kihei Clark, a new career high.
And this is the game, and one of the type of games where you have to mark a game like this for Kihei Clark coming in and having this level of success. This could spark him into being more aggressive offensively.
A foul on the shot attempt. Hands on head for Braxton Key.
And right now, Braxton Key in a tough spot, because you have to go and try to put out a fire, and going under that screen against a guy that's shooting the basketball that well, trying to recover is tough. And at that point, Lamb is, a good 5 feet beyond the college three-point line. You don't normally expect for a guy to shoot it from there, but he's so hot right now that he's going to take any look he possibly can get.
First free throws of the night for Vermont. Anthony Lamb, 75% on this young season from the free throw line. One of the co-captains on this Vermont team. And he has led the way tonight. Well, 30 points for Lamb.
And he plays his best against the big schools. And so he's saving his best performance against probably the best team that he's ever played against in his college career.
Diakite slashing.
I can only imagine what both these coaches are thinking when you consider how important defense is to them and how good they've been defensively, as Mamadi Diakite comes up with a big defensive stop. Lamb trying to get a foul on that possession. But to see the way that these two teams are scoring against each other, I know that has to be a bit mind-boggling. I know it is for Tony Bennett, and I'm sure for John Becker as well.
Timeout taken by Vermont, trailing by 1, 50-49. Late in the second half, Mamadi Diakite, 19 points to tie his career high.
And Mamadi Diakite accepting the challenge. And right there, Lamb trying to draw the foul, but Diakite stays solid, ends up being a turnover. As you see the two stars of the night having just a little conversation.
Second time this season, Diakite has gone for 19 points. Did it November 10th against James Madison in a win, 65-34. That young man in the center of that huddle. Anthony Lamb, 10 of 18 from the floor, 30 points, and 7 made threes. And he's hit the only 3 free throws of the game for Vermont in their 3 chances at the line. 7 ties, 7 lead changes, and a 1-point lead for the number 17 in the nation. We expected a close, competitive game. Did we expect, Corey, a 1-point game inside of 5 minutes to go in this second half?
Well, it's definitely been fun, no question about that. But getting an opportunity to see all these players make plays on both teams has been exciting as Jay Huff steps in and takes advantage of the size that Virginia has on the interior and coming up with big second chance points.
Morcell got a high five from Tony Bennett. Cavaliers own the basketball.
We talked about in the first half, Casey Morcell can heat the basketball up with the best of them. Hasn't shot it well thus far in his career at Virginia, but defensively, you can't ask for more than what the first-year guard has given him, and a big turnover there just because of his defensive pressure.
The 11th of the game for Vermont. 48% as a team from the floor in this game for Virginia. Clark in tight quarters, finds Key for 3.
Carolina comes into the JPJ. Big conference game. Well before exams and before the break, an early conference game from two top 10 opponents.
Virginia already 1-0 in conference, their first game of the year on the road in Syracuse, and a victory against the Orange. Trying to go inside. Tough catch for Huff. Ball bounces out of bounds. Who has it? Will stay at this end of the floor. 3 double-digit scores for Virginia. Diakite 19. Clark and Key 13 apiece. 8 of 22 from beyond the arc for Virginia. Diakite misses. And to Lamb.
And Diakite not giving Lamb a running start. Picking him up 94 feet to make sure that Lamb can't find any type of rhythm. Lamb going to get special attention when he has the basketball in his hand.
He's already got 3 double-doubles on the season. He gave that one up. And the misfire for Everett Duncan, was able to retrieve it. And the foul was called against Virginia on the mad scramble. Braxton Key.
Well, the fortunate thing for Virginia right now, they don't have nearly enough fouls to be able to put Vermont in the bonus. So the ball will go out on the side, and Vermont will have to play against the set defense, but only 20 seconds on the shot clock, not a 30-second reset.
5 team fouls for each team in this second half. Lamb had to back it out. Huff knocked it away, and right to Braxton Key.
And another turnover from Vermont. Their 4th in this crucial stretch where Virginia has been able to extend the lead to 6.
We were tied at 48. 7-0 run for the Cavs. Shot clock at 6. Off the mark from Clark. 2.5 minutes to go in regulation. Rattles out Robert Duncan.
And one of the things that Virginia has done as of late is done a very good job of limiting Lamb shots as well as Steph Smith, forcing someone else other than those 2 guys to try to beat them, and it's been a successful approach over the last few minutes.
Vermont has not beaten a ranked team since 2006 when they won at Boston College. Diakite against 2 defenders. Wall off. Turn around from Huff. He got it. And a foul.
We know about the big 3 from Virginia a year ago, but this year's group has a big 4. It starts with Mamdi Diakite and ends with Jay Huff, the big fella making his way known in the paint, coming up with the offensive rebound, the great touch to be able to finish it. Unable to finish off the and 1, but does extend the lead to 8.
3rd foul on Lamb. Last basket for Vermont at the 5:25 mark, and that'll stop the drought. No field goals.
And that's just a great individual play right there by Steph Smith to get his body in front of K.A. Clark and shield him off to be able to knock down the mid-range jumper.
Virginia 9-1 all time against America East. And getting a slugfest right down the final minutes. That was Huff. Trying to take the rim off its hinges with 1:21 to go on the clock.
Interior passing going to be important for Virginia this year simply because their strength is on the inside. And you see Mamdi Diakite and Jay Huff doing a great job playing high-low basketball and working well together on the block.
So with the lead at 6, a quick word from Works Trivac.
The Works Trivac 3-in-1 Easy Switch from blow to vac is a game changer and a time saver. Your yard work champion.
Virginia 47% shooting as a team, 8 of 23 from 3. 40% for Vermont and 40% from 3, 12 of 30 after the Catamounts struggled in the first half. It was 4 of 14 from long distance.
And this has been an area of concern for Virginia on the season, only shooting 8.8% from the free throw line, but haven't been in tight games for it to matter. So now as you get to a close game in crunch time, We have to see who's going to have the ability to step up and make free throws. Now Jay Huff has missed 2 in a row. And, again, it's only a problem when the game is close.
This is just free throw number 9 on the season for Huff. That one is good.
And with that one, he makes it a 3-possession game, so a big free throw right there. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in this one, which is still a long time in a basketball game, but with Virginia, you're not going to get a good quality look, especially quickly in the shot clock.
Get the ball to Lamb here. 30 points on the game. Too strong. Knocked away. Lamb trying to run it down. Morcell was there also. Vermont basketball with exactly 1 minute to play. 58-51 Virginia.
But great defensive stand by Mamadi Diakite on that possession, and more importantly, standing his ground, making it tough for Lamb to be able to shoot over top of him. And I love the fact that Diakite is taking on this challenge. He's about 3 to 4 inches taller than Lamb, but still moving alongside a guy who's been hot on the perimeter the entire second half.
19 points for Diakite to tie his career high. 3 for 3. From 3-point attempts, it only made 2 so far on the season coming into the evening.
I believe Tony Bennett
is talking with Tim Comer over there.
That must be a timeout. Mamadi Diakite must have blood on him, overseeing my cut man, Ethan Saliba, the best in the business. And so has 30 seconds, I believe, to get that squared away. Gives Ethan the thumbs up and ready to go.
Diakite to guard the inbound pass. Smith forces it up the floor. The tap is good. Ryan Davis able to get in there.
But right now, Vermont going to play this out and allow Virginia to kill time on the shot clock. And if you're Virginia, if you're able to come away with a bucket on this possession, this could make it very tough for the Catamounts to be able to come up with it.
Foul is going to be on Steph Smith.
And the mistake there is to make that foul after you've already wasted 18 seconds on the shot clock. Because if you're going to foul, you want to foul early. And, of course, Steph Smith didn't go in with the intention of fouling, was just going after a loose ball. But you lose 18 seconds in the game, and also still an opportunity for Kihei Clark to put points on the board.
First trip to the line tonight for Clark.
And now it ends up being a great foul.
Lamb misses. Long rebound. Lamb run it down. Right in front of us, out of bounds. And the call is Vermont basketball.
Bill Covington with a great eye on it. He was in position for that call. Because everyone is saying to go look at it, they will do it. But I believe Covington was right on top of that. I doubt very seriously that will be changed.
Kihei Clark missing the front of the bonus. He had been 2 for 2 from the line this season, so not a lot of free throws.
And you see Lamb come over, and then Diakite smacking the basketball. It is pretty close, I will have to admit, but I don't think there's enough evidence there to think that Lamb knocked it out to be able to turn that around. And Bill Covington standing right there on the spot.
Looking for the indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, which on the court was Vermont basketball.
I believe that one will stay with Vermont.
Bill Covington, Tommy Morrissey, Tim Comer have officiated our game this evening. Competitive, close, spirited, everything you would want in a non-conference matchup between Virginia and Vermont.
And a very well officiated game. As we talk about these 3 gentlemen that have been out there doing it, a very well officiated game, fair, allowing both teams to play through contact. We haven't seen a bunch of free throws and a bunch of, ticky-tack calls in this game, but it's been consistent on both sides. I can't say that either coach would have a problem with the whistle they were given in this game.
Virginia so strong at home, already 2-0 this season. at John Paul Jones Arena. They were 15-1 at home a season ago. Both of the regular season losses were to Duke.
And you see going in, Diakite clearly hits the ball, but is Lamb's finger on it last? That's the question. And when you think about this, it's such a bang-bang play that with the call on the floor, I'm not certain there's enough information right here in this video to be able to determine that it should be overturned. Well, now that I've said that,
upon further review,
it does look like Lamb's finger is the last on the basketball. Diakite getting in, he definitely hits the basketball here, but as Lamb goes down, is his finger last on that basketball? That might.
I don't think it's going to be enough, Corey.
I will say it's not enough, but a great challenge because both teams get an opportunity to really have a timeout. And more importantly, that was a lot closer on the video than it was to the naked eye when we first saw it.
23.9 seconds on the clock. Virginia trying to move to 4-0 and 3-0 at home. A 5-point lead for the Cavaliers against Vermont. Catamounts all-time just 2-25 against the ACC and hanging in until the very end.
Right now, officials trying to see if the clock was correct when the ball went out of bounds. Right on point. Has to be when it touches something out of bounds.
Lamb. Key the rebound. And Key got fouled immediately. Aaron Deloney was in there for Vermont.
Key got smacked across the face. Going to be interesting to see if they actually go over and look at this one. The officials having a conversation.
They gave the foul to Everett Duncan, 21. Although clearly on the replay, that was Deloney with the face break. It appeared inadvertent.
It was inadvertent, but oftentimes inadvertents get reviewed and end up being flagrant fouls. So, but the official's not going over to check this. I don't think anyone has a problem with that. Braxton Key doesn't.
Doesn't have a problem at the line tonight either. He's 4 for 4.
Well, and here's the key. If they do go over and review that, that's longer than it takes him to get to that free throw line and often ices the free throw shooter.
1 of 2 from Key. And the lead 6.
But Tony Bennett electing to foul on that possession because, of course, Vermont not in the bonus, and that's only the first in the last 2 minutes. But here's the thing. It's 15.7 seconds remaining. That's the 4th foul on Kihei Clark. And so crazier things have happened. And this is not a scenario where you want to go to overtime and have to play without your point guard if that were the case.
13 points on the night for Clark. And 3 of 4 on three-pointers. Kihei Clark. Final seconds of regulation. Smith offline. Diakite had it for a moment, and now Clark gets it. And he gets fouled. Deloney. What a stretch run by Virginia. This game was tied at 48, Corey.
It was tied, and they had a hot hand, and Vermont had a hot hand in Anthony Lamb. And give Mamadi Diakite credit for what he did offensively for the first 30 minutes of this game, but what he did defensively for the last 10, taking on the challenge of cooling off a hot hand in Anthony Lamb.
Double bonus, Virginia. Clark at the line.
You know, Tom, this is exactly what Virginia needed. A good game, a very good opponent, but more importantly, winning a close game does more for you moving forward than winning every game by double figures.
So let Smith drive and score. So count that Smith drive. For Kihei Clark, 15 points. That's a career high. His teammate